Did Mace Windu actually defeat Palpatine? Darth Sidious is one of the most powerful beings in the Star Wars galaxy. Despite 4 Jedi Masters having the high ground, he was able to kill 3 of them in mere seconds, showing just how powerful he is. However, just minutes later, he was defeated by Mace Windu, with many believing this was a planned defeat in order to coax Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. However, Mace Windu was known as the Jedi's greatest champion, and was likely the Jedi most suited for defeating a Sith Lord. Mace Windu was a master of Vaapad, a lightsaber form that channeled an opponent's rage and hatred back at them. He was also a master of the Force Shatterpoint ability, which allowed him to determine the exact point of weakness in an opponent's defenses. Although he was less powerful than the Sith Lord, Windu used these advantages to beat Palpatine in the lightsaber duel fair and square, which has been confirmed by George Lucas himself. Why did the Jedi fear Mace Windu? During the twilight years of the Jedi Order, Mace Windu was considered one of the most capable and powerful Jedi in the Order. However, with great power came great risk. As we know, it was often the most able members of the Order that fell through hubris to the dark side, with Count Dooku and Anakin Skywalker being the best examples of this. However, it was a young Mace Windu who the Jedi feared falling to the dark side most of all. Mace reveled in the heat of battle, a characteristic that worried the Jedi, including Grandmaster Yoda himself. However, unlike Anakin or Dooku, Windu was able to see the flaws in his own character, creating Form 7, otherwise known as Vaapad, to channel more aggressive and dark side emotions. This allowed him to take advantage of his rage in combat while also controlling his violent tendencies, gaining immense respect within the Jedi Order. What would have happened to Mace Windu if he killed Palpatine? If Anakin had not got involved during the final moments of Palpatine's and Mace's duel, it is very likely that Sidious's Imperial rule would have ended before it had even begun. However, Mace Windu's fate would likely not have been a rosy one. Palpatine was one of the most popular men in galactic history, while the Jedi were largely viewed as an elitist and undemocratic organization. Sidious also had many allies working within the Galactic Senate, not to mention within the Republic military. If Mace had indeed killed Palpatine, he would probably have been tried and maybe even executed for treason. Even if the Jedi could prove he was a Sith Lord, many wouldn't even understand what that meant, as it wasn't actually a crime to be one. Mace likely knew that this would be his fate, making his decision to kill Palpatine even more impactful. However, this alternative timeline did not play out, leading to the demise of Windu and providing Palpatine with the perfect scapegoat to concoct lies about, which you can find out about in this video. How did Mace Windu get his purple lightsaber? Mace Windu's purple lightsaber was one of the most unique and visually stunning blades in all of Star Wars. Not only was the blade a rare purple coloration, it was also covered in the extremely valuable Electrum metal to show Windu's high rank within the Order. This lightsaber was constructed with the finest materials after his ascension to the Jedi High Council, although he acquired his purple lightsaber crystal when he was a young Padawan. The young Windu received Force visions of the saber he would go on to construct, venturing to the world of Harkan in the search for a purple lightsaber crystal. There, he was attacked by the Stone Creature natives, with the young Mace Windu using the Force to destroy one. In this moment, Windu realized he could either use his talents for good or evil. He then used the Force to reconstruct the Stone Creature, who was so grateful he gave Windu a rare Hurakan purple lightsaber crystal. Who was the mercenary droid that almost defeated Mace Windu in single combat? Tasked by General Grievous himself to oversee mining operations on Hissrich, ADW-4 was a fearsome mercenary droid. This operation caught the eye of the Jedi, who soon dispatched a strike team including Mace Windu and Kit Fisto. Windu confronted the droid, confident that his strength in the Force would protect him. The droid unveiled an electro staff and the pair began a ferocious duel. Mace was met with a barrage of blaster fire before the droid threw a ball of metal at him, allowing him to escape. However, the pair met soon after, with the droid soon gaining the upper hand against the Jedi Master, pummeling Windu over and over again. Mace then used the Force to push the droid off him, before impaling him with his lightsaber. In one final attempt to evade his imminent destruction, the droid's head ejected from his body. Windu used the Force Crush ability to explode the droid's head, freeing the planet from separatist exploitation. What if Mace Windu had trained Anakin Skywalker? Although Mace Windu and Anakin had a rather rocky relationship, they were much more similar than you may think, with both struggling with inner anger. If Mace Windu had decided to train Anakin, he would have taught him Vaapad, a technique he developed to control and channel his violent tendencies, thus preventing Anakin's fall to the dark side. As well as allowing Anakin to have a purple lightsaber, he would have been far more powerful, particularly against Darkseid users. Instead of joining Palpatine, Anakin would help Windu defeat him. He would go on to become the most powerful and most popular Jedi of all time, eventually becoming Jedi Grand Master and Chancellor, helping to lead the Republic into a golden age. Why did Mace Windu immediately hate Anakin Skywalker? From the moment Anakin Skywalker entered the Jedi Temple, Windu was perhaps the Jedi Master who was most against training the boy. Like many of the other Jedi on the Council, Windu believed he was too old to be trained, and that his attachments and fear could lead to the dark side. But why was Windu the most against training the young Anakin? After all, Windu himself had struggled with the dark side and had gone on to develop the Vaapad lightsaber form, the most violent and dangerous of all lightsaber styles. One compelling theory suggests that it was due to Mace Windu's unique Shatterpoint ability. This force power allowed him to see glimpses of the future, and perhaps even vaguely sensed his own death at the hands of Palpatine and the young boy. Although the Jedi and Sith differed in many ways, they did agree on some things. As we have explored before, Trakata, the art of turning your blade on and off, was deeply frowned upon by both Force-wielding orders. Both orders also viewed Mace Windu's Vaapad in a similar way, even outright forbidding its use. Vaapad allowed the wielder to channel the dark side energies of an opponent, whilst resisting the urge to fall to the dark side completely. The Sith believed that this did not go far enough, arguing it was a pale imitation of aggressive lightsaber forms like Juyo. However, the Jedi believed it went too far. After all, one of its Jedi creators had fallen to the dark side. Therefore, its teachings were banned unless Windu himself deemed a Jedi capable of wielding Vaapad's great power. Mace Windu was one of the most powerful and bravest Jedi in the entire Order. I mean, Windu was able to stay focused even as 3 of his fellow Jedi Masters were struck down by Palpatine. However, Windu was terrified of dueling Grievous. As we explored in yesterday's video, Windu was the creator of the powerful lightsaber form known as Vaapad, a technique that allowed the wielder to channel the fury of an opponent right back at them. During a short duel on Coruscant, Windu realized that Grievous was able to mimic his fighting style, despite not being Force sensitive. Fearing what Grievous could do if he fully learnt this powerful technique, he quickly broke off the engagement and refused to duel him for the remainder of the war. Why did Mace Windu believe that Count Dooku was the most dangerous Sith? Without knowledge of the true identity of Dooku's master, Darth Sidious, Mace Windu truly believed Dooku to be the most powerful man in the galaxy. By using the Force Shatterpoint ability on Geonosis, Windu was able to sense the web of treacherous connections that Dooku had accumulated when forming the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Windu knew of Dooku's profound understanding of the Jedi Order, and the fact that he believed Dooku had orchestrated the entire war filled him with dread, making him believe that Dooku was in fact the most dangerous man in the galaxy. What lies did Palpatine concoct about Jedi Master Mace Windu after Order 66? After the fall of the Jedi Order, Palpatine embarked on a propaganda campaign against the Jedi Order to ensure that they could never rise again. Mace Windu was the prime target of these lies, after claiming that the Jedi, led by Windu, had plotted to overthrow him and sought to take control of the Republic. Palpatine began creating fake evidence to incriminate the Jedi. He doctored the footage of their duel to make it seem as though Windu had tried to kill him in cold blood, even releasing the audio of Mace telling Anakin he was too dangerous to be kept alive. He even claimed that the Jedi had a vast criminal syndicate that had plotted to overthrow the Republic. Palpatine lied that Windu had turned to the dark side and had twisted the Jedi Order, with even Grandmaster Yoda falling from grace. Why did Mace Windu execute Order 65 and remove Palpatine from power? Like Order 66, Order 65 was one of the many clone contingency orders to be used during an emergency. Order 65 stated that if a majority of the Senate or the Security Council declared the Chancellor unfit for duty, he was to be removed from power, and if necessary, with lethal force. However, despite this legal way of removing Palpatine from power, Mace did not enact Order 65 and instead confronted Palpatine in his office. The reason for this was twofold. Firstly, as Palpatine aptly put it, "I am the Senate," and it was very unlikely that they would actually vote against him, especially as being a Sith Lord was not actually illegal. However, more importantly, Windu simply had no idea that the contingency orders even existed, with their existence largely serving to make Order 66 seem more legitimate if they were ever discovered within the clone's inhibitor. Here's a cool little Star Wars trivia fact. Before his untimely death in 1996, the legendary Tupac actually auditioned for the part of Mace Windu. In the 90s, Tupac had an up-and-coming acting career, alongside his more well-known gig as one of the most influential rappers of all time. It isn't known how close he actually got to getting the part, but it certainly stirs the imagination. Could you imagine Tupac leading the Jedi at the Battle of Geonosis, or going face to face with Palpatine in the Revenge of the Sith? Let me know down below. For more Star Wars shorts, check out this video.